Have you talked about a goal before but not gone on to achieve it? Have you discussed it and wasted the time of yourself and the people around you talking about doing something but not actually going on to do the thing? I have. The people I've worked with, that I've coached have, and people in my family have. So I've had these experiences, and I'm going to share some really key things that I've observed, that I've asked questions of people and myself. In this video, I'm going to share some of the things that I think can help you not just talk about goals, not just set the goals, but actually go on to completely achieve them. So I think it's really fun to sit down, get a piece of paper, share with my loved ones, with my friends, my family, people that care about me and my business and that help me. It's really fun to sit down and strategize and say, this is a great goal. This is an awesome thing to set out, or a new journey to embark on. That's a really fun process. And in the past, I've been someone that gets really excited about and leans into the planning and the excitement of talking about doing those things. And now I'm a big believer that without a clear plan and without a few other strategies that I'm going to discuss in this video, that's just noise. It's a waste of time. It doesn't actually move the needle on what we need to do. And so these lessons and these things I want to share, I want you to take them and use them. Now, if you've just landed on the channel and you're wondering, what would this dude possibly know about goal setting? Who is he? I'm glad you asked. My name's Johnny Salmon. I'm a former Queensland police officer with almost a decade of policing experience. About halfway through that career, decided that I didn't want to do that long term. So I studied personal training. I started a side hustle business until I had enough capacity to resign from my government job. And I've been running my face-to-face and online fitness coaching company ever since. I've now delivered over 10,000 personal training sessions. I'm a studying nutritionist, and I'm fortunate enough to work with some really high-performing individuals around Australia, here in Brisbane, but also abroad in other countries. The experiences of working with other humans and helping them with their problems means that I can just absorb all these lessons. And so there's some of the lessons that I'm pouring back into this channel so that you can find it on YouTube or the Spotify podcast and get some value out of it, get some lessons out of it, but most importantly, actually go on and take action on it, which is exactly what we're going to discuss in this video. So a warm welcome. Remember to subscribe, and let's crack in. Now, real quick, just before we jump in, there's two ways that I can help you if you watch this video and you think, man, I'd love to find out some more. Number one, show notes below, there's a link to book a 15-minute strategy call. If you think I can help you and you've got you're problem aware and you think, look, I need some help getting through this next step, or maybe you don't know what your problems are. You just know you're out of shape mentally and physically and you don't know what to do about it. Book a phone call with me. People take this up all the time. It's a complimentary thing. One or two things can happen. Number one, you get some great next steps. Go on with your day and start implementing them. Number two, you realize you need more help, and we can talk about what that looks like. Secondly, if you're ready to jump straight in and go for it, the second link is a link to the CXO Movement. I'm not going to tell you in this video all about it because all the info that you need is on the page. There's also a video there like this of me talking you through all the fine details. So if that interests you, jump in and we can go from there. Let's crack in. So firstly, setting goals without a plan. This one it happens all the time. I have these chats with people and they say, look, I tried to do this, or I'm working on this, or in the past I did this, but it didn't really work out. And what I often find is, like I mentioned earlier, they're really good at sitting down, when they get that motivating thought, or they have an experience and they get really motivated. And you sit down and you write things, in the whiteboard or in a journal, or you tell it to someone, or you send a mate a text, or your partner, and nothing really happens after that. It's this fleeting moment and these are things like New Year's resolutions, birthday events, where you think, oh, I'm going to do this year. Now that I'm 30, 40, 50, whatever you are, you think, this sounds like a cool idea, but you don't actually have or go on to then create, because that's the responsibility you have if you're going to set goals, is to then create a plan that actually gets you there. So without having a structured plan for that goal, it's no doubt that it doesn't happen. What I like to do with people is talk about not just their goals, but what their behavioral goals are. And behavioral goals are simply their actions, their behaviors, their habits, their things that create discipline. They're things you need to do daily, weekly, and monthly to go ahead and get the big goal done. I'm going to draw reference to part of the CXO framework here. So if you haven't heard of it, the CXO framework is a framework that I've got that I use with all my coaching clients, and it's A, B, C, D, E. So it's quite easy to remember. It's having an action plan, some clarity on vision, mission, and goals. It's having a personal board of directors. So you've got people, environments, and tools that are available to you to go on and use as part of your resources, and sometimes audit and get rid of because they're not adding value. A C is consumables. So food, drinks, and supplements plan. So you've actually got some structure around what you're doing. D is the drive. So it's body, mind, and sleep. So it's how you're recovering, how you're looking after yourself, how the brain is actually feeling, and if you're getting proper rest. And E is exercise. So when, where, and how the exercise plan fits into your life so that you can actually achieve it daily, weekly, and monthly. Now that I've explained that little bit, the part of the framework that I wanted to reference here is the board of directors section. It's having basically a health and fitness team. And the reason that that's important with goal setting is because you can bring in people, environments, and tools and resources. You can close proximity on things that add value to you and help you on the journey of goal setting and your behavioral goals to make sure you go ahead and do it. But we also do what's called an audit and like sacking, basically, like getting people, environments, and things out of our lives that don't align with the direction that you're going in. So you can see how that applies to not just fitness, but it applies to your personal development, your family, your business, or your career. But my point is having clarity on what that is and like your parameters, so to speak, is so important and so valuable because it means there's less decision fatigue. There's less things to think about of if it does or does not align because you've got very clear on what it is you want to do. The next thing that's really challenging for a lot of people is not truly believing that they actually can make change. So it's a really tough one because people get stuck in this loop of this narrative, and the narrative is literally whatever's going on in your own brain. So sometimes we have to change what we're feeding our brain, what we're saying to ourselves in here and out of here, what the people around us, how they're speaking to us. Sometimes you have to coach people to treat you differently. Sometimes you need to explain what your goals are, explain what your values are, explain where it is, like what the journey or the trajectory that you're going on. You have to explain that to the people around you and not end up creating resentment because they haven't just magically kept up. But it's your job and responsibility, in my opinion, to lean into making sure that you educate those people what they are. One of two things usually happens. One, those people will be supportive. Those people will lean in. They will encourage you. They'll help hold you accountable. Number two, those people will be resistant to that. And that's not a reflection of you. That's a reflection of them. So I encourage you to, depending on who they are, you might need to limit time or association or exposure to them. And what I've experienced is some of those people need to go. They need to be cut because constantly being exposed to narratives that you're producing or that others are producing that are holding you back from the parameters you set and the goals that you have, it's really impactful. And you'll either create resentment for them or yourself. So I encourage you to lean into that. The next thing I see a fair bit of is people like waiting to feel ready. So they're waiting to feel like they need to train more or harder. They're waiting till they feel like they need to do meal prep. They're waiting to, I don't know, they might just wait for the grass to grow. My point is, you're not always going to feel like doing the things that make you better. However, leaning into the daily, weekly, monthly habits that generate results that track you towards your goals, that mean that you don't have to guess as much with the direction that you're going in because you're very clear on it, that's awesome. And that does not cater to your feelings. So creating goals, creating behavioral goals, and creating daily, weekly, monthly habits lists or behavioral lists, so to speak, of the things that you just need to do repeatedly, daily, weekly, monthly to get you to where you are. It doesn't rely on your feelings. Okay, so some days you may not feel like it. I didn't feel like recording this YouTube video today, but I'm sitting here and I'm doing it. Why? I have a big goal. I know that these behaviors contribute to that goal, so I'm doing the behavior. Not because I do or do not feel like it, because I have decided in a past moment, in logic, and I've written down and I've got accountability and I've got things and systems and structures in place to make sure that these happen consistently. Now I'm doing it. And so although I didn't feel like it, in fact, I delayed it about 20 minutes from when I was going to start doing it. So that's not too bad. But my point is, my recording should have started 20 minutes prior. But even with all the things I just talked about, there's still a buffer. So can you imagine if if I or you always waited until we felt like it and we delayed 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 2 weeks, 2 years, 20 years. Now, 20 years. Let's talk about 20 years for a second. Nathan, who has just finished his coaching program with me, came in 16 weeks ago and he was weighing 21 point something kilos heavier than what he is as of yesterday. Nathan, if you see this, a massive congratulations to you. Nathan and I had his success call yesterday, which means that he doesn't leave with just like, cool, stop paying, you're out, goodbye. He leaves with clarity. He leaves with a roadmap and some real systems and knowledge around what his next steps are, so he can continue to maintain this lifestyle and not yo-yo and put the weight back on like most of the people did on The Biggest Loser. And my point is, referencing the 20-year thing, is that Nathan, for 20 years, hasn't been the weight that he is today. He's been 20 kilos plus heavier. And it was a lack of decision-making, a lack of leaning in, a lack of getting help and accountability and getting honest with himself. Now, the awesome thing is, he said to me yesterday, I no longer need help. I no longer need to live in the way that I was. And I feel so much better. I think so much better. I act and behave so much better. And that's a really awesome thing. So for 20 years, he had all this extra body fat. He had a massive belly, and now he does not. And that's a classic example of going, you hit this point in time where you go, I don't want this anymore. Who and what do I need to put in my world to change? And you change the trajectory of your entire life and longevity and family legacy and health because you've decided to pivot. So, dude, congratulations to you. Anyway, let's continue with the video. Now, the last key piece that I want to share in this video is talking about embodying the person that already has the goal. And there's a specific reason for that. It's because without doing that, you are going to keep living like the person you are today. So if you today decide you've got a new goal and you know the behaviors that you have to do to hit that goal, and you imagine just cross-referencing or checking off, like going through that list of behaviors that you then write down. If you're not currently doing any of them, but we have discovered that doing them leads you to this goal, that's a different version of you. It's someone who's behaving, operating, thinking differently, this different outcome to what you've got now. And in the example of Nathan, he was 20 kilos plus heavier. He was living in a different way, and we worked out all these behaviors for him daily, weekly, monthly. And he started acting and behaving like the 20 kilos less version of him, which he now is. And so all he had to do was follow the bouncing ball and follow the steps that were put in front of him that we came up with together. The beauty of that, and I guess the reason why I raised that, is because I've seen this before in myself and with people that I've coached, where they don't truly embody or take on almost that like identity of the person who's living with the goal that they currently have. And the problem with that is you don't act like that person. You don't think like that person. You don't sleep, eat, drink, train, and do things like the person that you want to become, or that slightly different version of you, so to speak. The reason that holds you back is because you just keep acting like you are now. You just keep doing the same things, going round the mountain or round the hamster wheel over and over and over, and not actually getting anywhere or implementing any change. Now, that's frustrating. it lets you down. Like letting yourself down is not a great habit to be in, because you'll just know that every time you talk about doing something, you probably won't get it done. I got some questions for you to see if this will help spark some things in you to then go on and take action. So the questions are, what would the version of me who currently already has the goal or the result that I want, what would they do now? How would they be thinking, acting, feeling? What behaviors would they have daily, weekly, monthly? What would they be doing? And if you don't know, then someone like me can certainly help you. Like I said before, show notes below, 15-minute call link if you think that would add value to you. But here's some more questions. Would they skip their training sessions? Would they scroll social media instead of doing their meal prep? Would they press the snooze button and stay in bed instead of getting up and taking action on their goals? Would they delay action for another week? Wait till Monday, wait till the next birthday, wait till Christmas? Or would they start today? Would they choose to not help their partner with things around the house? Would they be lazy? Would they stay up late for hours gaming? Would they eat potato chips late at night? Would they drink too many beers, even though it's a work day tomorrow? Would they buy fast food? Would they stop at the servo and get the snacks? Would they get drunk a few times a week? Would they not spend time with the kids? You know what I'm saying? Start asking yourself, the reason that I use those specific examples is because I've had those things told to me by clients on coaching calls when we're working through some of those layers that we peel back to help people move through the things that are holding them back from, like I said, actually going on to achieve the goals that they have. So like I mentioned at the start, setting goals, going through the excitement and sharing it with people and writing it down, and that's a great phase, don't get me wrong, but it's the easy part. It's not the bit that actually helps you get to the result. Mindset, discipline, structure, systems, they are the things that carry through, and those behavioral goals, the simple things you have to do daily, weekly, and monthly is what takes you from where you are now to getting to the goal. There's a phrase that says, what's easy to do is just as easy not to do. And it's very true with goal setting and goal achieving. If I can help you achieve goals, if you watch this and you're like, yeah, that's me, I've talked about it heaps, I haven't really done it, then I would encourage you to book a call with me. The worst case scenario is that you'll leave that phone call with some clear next steps. It's not a fluffy phone call. It's not meant to make you feel good. It's meant to inspire you and encourage you to take action. So that's the premise in which you'd come into that call, is that you've got some things to work through. And like I said, if you're ready to jump in, you want to get coaching, you want to grab some help, and you've made that decision, the second link in the show notes is to the CXO Movement. All the info is on the page. I hope you've gotten some value out of this video. If you're still watching, then you must have heard something that resonated with you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for spending your valuable time watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk soon. See ya.